ADR, this is King Black coming at you again with another one. Now, this one sounds controversial, but you make up your minds if it is or not. So, I'm dating someone who's black, right? That in itself, there's nothing wrong with it. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. But she said something that kind of hit me hard. And this is what she said. She said, I will never understand the struggle that she goes through being in the skin that she's in, especially since I, even though I am Puerto Rican, look white. And the initial reaction was to kind of brush that comment off. But the longer that I think about it, or the longer that I thought about it and gave it some actual intense meditation, the more I realize, no matter how hard I try to empathize the struggle she may go through in society, I won't truly understand. And I may feel sympathy or I may feel sorry, but I can never feel empathy. So let me go a little bit deeper with it. So some examples she gave me was, I won't know the struggle of, being followed at the store or being looked at, profiled by certain agencies when conducting a traffic stop, right? And she's told me some incidents that has happened to her. And I think back on my own situations, and they played out completely different, And I have no way of coming back at that. All I can come up with is, I'm sorry you've had to go through that. And, I wish it didn't go down that way. But what can I say? I am who I am, and I'm born the way that I'm born, Because even if I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not the stereotypical Puerto Rican color that most people think of, right? So I'm not even brown, right? So I can't say that I share necessarily in certain struggles, right? Because call it whatever you want, privilege or whatever, right? I don't notice it. But then again, how could I, right? It's a little bit weird. It's like she wasn't trying to blame me for being as light as I am, but she was saying I would never understand because I was part of the problem, right? Because when I look at her, or when I look at people, I don't see the color of their skin. I just treat them based on how they treat me, right? Personality and names, that's what I see. Doesn't matter if whatever your name is, right? I'm not going to instantaneously make up a judgment just because of a name. I'm just going to, instead of seeing you as a white person, I'll call you whatever your name is, right? And I don't know, maybe y'all can give me some tips or pointers about how to not address the situation, but show some sort of compassion more than I already have, because I even told her, I'm sorry that she's had to go through things like that, especially when she's alone. And I tell her, even when you're with me, I don't think I would be able to notice, because obviously if you're with me outside in public, and it's not no ego thing, I'm just talking about, what she says is bias, right? They might not act towards her the same while she's standing next to me and while we're interacting with whoever, versus if she was in that same place by herself. And it kind of puts me in a tough bind, because I can't blame myself having been born in this covering. But I can at the same time objectively listen to what she tells me she's gone through. And if I see examples of it, I can also agree, yes, it's wrong, it's incorrect. It's not a good assumption to have about others, right? But I may never personally experience said incidents or said things. So I feel you, or I understand from me doesn't amount to much, if that makes sense. As much as she knows I care. As much as she knows I truly feel bad that she goes through it. It doesn't hit the same because it's coming from somebody like me who she says I never had to experience certain things. And it's quite a struggle because even though it's not necessarily a point of contention between us, I feel like at certain times that's used to justify certain arguments that we may have or disagreements. And at the same time, I can't combat that because of who I am. I can't tell her, no, it's not this, it's not that. Because it doesn't sound to her correct coming from me, right? And that is a struggle. And I'm kind of laying this personal stuff out there because the longer I think about it, the harder I find a solution to be. I don't know if there really is one. I can't proclaim to be something that I'm not. I can't pretend I share in her struggle when I go out. Certain situations or certain individuals may not look at me the same as they would others. But me and her are in this intimate situation. But it's always on the back of her mind. And as much as I try to dissuade her from putting too much thought on it, it's just something that bubbles to the surface. So I really don't know how to combat that when it comes up. All I can say is maybe you're right. And I apologize if that happens. But I don't see it. And I try to get her to explain it. But then she gets even more frustrated because she has to explain it like it's somehow supposed to be clear to me. But like I said, if it is true, I don't notice it because it's not happening to me. I don't have a personal experience to be like, yes, you're correct. Like I've said in my past videos, I've heard some racist things about Hispanics and Puerto Ricans or Mexicans when I'm around people. But that's because they don't immediately associate me as Puerto Rican, right? And then later when I say, when they find out, or even if they knew beforehand, they just somehow forget, right? But sometimes I'm exposed to things that I hear that I'm like, wow, if I looked a certain way, would this person say this or do this, So maybe in a small way I can understand what she's talking about, but it's not happening to me. I'm not the I don't want to say target, but I'm not what they are talking about in their head. I'm not fitting the description of what they're talking about. And I know that many of y'all who listen to my videos or watch my videos and listen to my voice probably do look much different and probably do understand what she's talking about. I'm just saying, me as a human being, I can only treat her as I know her. And the way I treat her has nothing to do with her color. I just see her as the person who I am with. But the way society might, or whatever situation she may encounter, might treat her different. How can I relate to something that hasn't happened to me, but also not make myself in her eyes, without trying, also a part of the issue or an enemy to her, you know? It's a little bit delicate and complicated, but I'm just shooting things into the wind. I need y'all to throw me some answers, throw me a bone, help me out, because I don't know. I've searched inside my soul, and all I can come up with is saying, you know, I truly apologize. You've had to go through these things, and I wish that they never happened. But anyways, ADR, this is King Black. Until the next one.